I've got a few interesting practices for today I've also got something to read. So first things first, I'm using 2 prompts from Keith Johnstone on how to improvise in life, how to get in touch with our improvisation and not judge ourselves as much. So take 2 colors, you're gonna put one in each hand. Do not decide what to draw and just start putting equal attention on both sides. And it's usually pretty surprising to people how good they are at drawing with both hands when you don't quickly switch your attention from one to the other. You have to just keep drawing as if giving as best as you can equal attention to both. So do not judge what you're making. It's important that you just try to make the same thing on both sides. And as you do this, you'll find that instead of switching from left to right, your attention, just keeping it on both, there's something very interesting about how your brain has to start to stretch. And as you're doing this, just keep on drawing the same thing on both sides without looking at it as what you're creating. And as you do this, you might find that the more you calm down your attention, the more they start to look the same. And now if you want to switch the colors, continue now. So you're going to keep on going without looking at one side or the other side more than the other side. And just rather looking at this as a chance to make something like a mirror image, as if both sides are equal without judging whether they're coming out similar or not. And in this practice, we're able to connect with the source of improv, which is that we're not polished. And we don't have to be polished. The goal right now is not to be polished. It's to simply draw with both hands. And I'm going to switch the colors again about every minute or so. And we'll do this for like just a little bit longer. And allow this to be truly and deeply an experience of letting both sides do the same thing without trying to adjust them. And I'm going to switch one last time now for about another 30 seconds. And as you're drawing, try not to make it like at any point, oh, oops, I'm starting to separate. My brain is starting to separate them as I get to the middle of my art. And we're just about finishing up with our practice. And we're gonna go to our next practice now, which is you're gonna get something and you're gonna count back from 100 as you write. So get something to write with, a pen, paper, and you're gonna be surprised. We're not actually choosing what we're writing. So you might label this paper just to avoid any later confusion, improvisation practice. What comes out when we distract our minds is what needs to come out. And it's fine to throw it away after, but we're doing this as a practice. All right, so we're gonna start now. We're gonna start counting 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, I'm just counting, it's pretty hard to do this, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, I think I'm up to 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 51, 50, 49, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, pausing, 39, I have to turn the page, and I don't know, up to 40, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 37, 38, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 27, 25, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And pause, just allow it to be. And I'd like to now share something I want to read. It's from Quantum Torah website. And it's called A Girl in a State of Superposition. So the author of this website, quantumtorah.com, is Alexander Polterack. And he says that he discussed in the past the twilight or dusk, which is not day or night or nor both, nor neither. It's a unique state of having its own laws and status associated with it. It's interesting that it's called Bein Hashmashot, in between times, from the point of view that it's very similar to the quantum mechanical state of something called superposition. We discussed, he mentions in previous posts, an electron of an atom can be in superposition, spinning up, spinning down. So the angular momentum will be counterclockwise, right, spinning up, or counterclockwise, spinning down. So the photon, or the light kind of charged particle or wave, or, is in a state of superposition of horizontal and vertical polarization. So you've ever heard of polarized sunglasses, you know that they block the polar wave of whether it's one way or the other way, right? So the Schrodinger cat is by Erwin Schrödinger, the famous scientist who talks about superposition, where he did an experiment. The cat's not alive nor dead until you know. So it's like Bein Hashmashot. It's not alive, not dead, not both, not neither. It's a unique state of superposition, alive and dead. And there is a Torah portion, not this week, called Matos, which provides examples of other superposition of states. And for example, in vows. So the Torah teaches how, in order to keep and fulfill our vows, we also need to have a mechanism for annulling a vow. A vow in Torah is called neder. The Torah gives an example of a girl who reached the age of maturity. For example, she's 12 years old, which is the age of bat mitzvah. You're now responsible for your deeds and your lows, your highs. The law is if she makes a vow before 12, she's exempt, because if she breaks the vow, she's not responsible for it. For example, it could be so stupid, I'm not going to eat ice cream, right? But if she makes a vow at 12 and a half, she has to keep her vow, or she has to go through something called ateres nidarim. This is an annulment of a vow. You can do it before Yom Kippur, or you can go with Beis Din, which is a rabbinic court. If she makes a vow in the first 6 months after reaching the age of bat mitzvah and her father hears the vow, he still has the power to annul it without the rabbinic court. What is so special about the 6 months after she's 12? So before reaching the age of 12, the girl is considered a child. As any child, she's not responsible for her words, and she's not held accountable for breaking her vow. After the age of 12 and a half, she's considered an adult, also called a bogeret. As every adult, she's responsible for her words, is duty-bound to keep her vows. The age in between a child and being an adult is a special period which a girl is called na'ara. She's not a child, not an adult, not both, not neither, in a unique state of superposition of two states, being a child, being an adult. It has its own laws for annulling the vows. A second example offered by the Torah is the state of a betrothed girl. Jewish marriage has two main states, betrothal, eruzin, and marriage, nisuin. In biblical and Talmudic times, these two stages of engagement and marriage were usually 12 months apart. Nowadays, they take place at the same time under the chuppah. A girl before betrothal is a single girl and can marry any man. After the second phase, nisuin, the woman's fully married. It is the status of the girl in between that is of interest to us. After the engagement, erusin, in Hebrew, but before the marriage, nisuin, the girl is no longer a single girl, as she's prohibited to all men, including her groom, who she cannot yet live with. So at this stage, she's not a single girl, not a married woman, not both, not neither. The kala or bride is in a state of superposition of two states of being single and married when she's in erusin, when she's betrothed. The most interesting case is when a girl is in superposition twice, as far as her age is concerned and as far as her marital status is concerned. This happens when a 12-year-old girl, this is going back many years ago, when it was normal actually, and most of us have ancestors who we have heard actually stories about, whether you're Jewish or not, who got married at 12 years old. They died at 30, a lot of the people then, you know? Anyway, some of them lived hundreds of many of them lived till 100 or hundreds, if not hundreds, but we know for the most part that actually Jews are considered to be the ones who lived very long because of the hygienic practices built into the Torah. Don't eat swarming things, wash your hands all the time, don't sleep a certain way, don't be with that one sexually, don't do that food practice, and so on. Anyway, so in those days, so as far as her age is concerned and her marital status is concerned, she's in superposition. She becomes engaged less than 12 and a half. She's a na'ara, being in a state of superposition of two states, a child and an adult, and she's in erusa, being in a state of superposition of two states, single and married. This very special state of double superposition is discussed in the Talmud and has its own name, na'ara. The girl's father and brother and her groom, chatan, it has its own name, na'ara erusa, betrothed adolescent girl. This unique state has its own laws that require a partnership of the girl's father and groom to annul her vow. We discussed this in the context and his post. He had another one about annulment of vows. You're welcome to look into the website. It's excellent. It's really excellent. His posts, they're very, very good.